Hey guys, so today I'm going to be looking at people who follow their gut decisions. Yeah, let's just get right into the video. I was drinking and felt something stick in the back of my throat. I almost forced it down because it was really far back and awkward to cough up, but I decided to spit it out anyways. It was a shard of glass from the bottle I was drinking out of. It still creeps me out to think about even years later because I really was just going to swallow it. What? That's so scary. How was there a shard of glass from the bottle, inside the bottle? I was riding my bike to school as normal when I was about 12 and I stopped at a crossing. All the cars stopped, but I felt that something was off and waited a little longer. As soon as I started to cross, there was a flash of green as a Range Rover speeded past me barely a hair from the front wheel of my bike. If I had started to cross sooner, then I would have been hit head-on and most likely not have survived as the car was going that fast. I was so shaky that I turned around and headed home explaining to my mum what happened. As I was still shaking, she believed me and made me a hot chocolate. Jeez. That's scary, man. See, you know, one random thing a stupid person does can cost you your life. And that's just scary about this world. But I want hot chocolate now. It's so cold nowadays for some reason. It's autumn here in Australia. Had a weird feeling something was seriously wrong with me when I stood up and almost passed out at a big football game. We left the stadium and went to the ER. Turns out my appendix was ruptured and I needed surgery as soon as possible. I had been having stomach pain prior to this, but brushed it off as digestion problems. Good thing I went. Woo! Good thing, man. Oh my gosh. Man, the appendix though. It's useless, right? Like we don't even need it in us. Why is it even there? My mum. I was almost 15. I had put on a lot of water weight and she was worried about it. Finally, I was in pain and she realized it was literally just water weight, so took me to the hospital. First ER was like, oh yeah, it's just thyroid. Take this and follow up with your doctor. Mum waited a few hours but felt uncomfortable, so she drove me to another ER who told her if she hadn't gotten me in when she did, I would have died before the follow-up. My kidneys had failed. I'm better now. This is crazy how one doctor can say one thing and the other can say something entirely different. This is why you should always go to like multiple doctors if you think there's something wrong, you know. While fishing on a large lake in Canada, we were a little more than halfway across when the wind really started picking up and a storm started rolling in. I had the choice to turn back or head to an island with a bay. I decided to head for the bay, and just as we reached the calmer water, we looked behind us and the storm had gotten worse. We were in an aluminium boat, and if we had chosen to head back, 3 of us would have drowned, no doubt in my mind. We were already taking on water and were completely drenched when we beached on the island. Once the storm abated, we made the journey back and it still took 4 hours in high wind for a normally half-hour boat trip. Warming up in the truck was the best feeling in the world after that. That's scary. This is why I hate water. I mean, like, I hate the sea or the ocean, whatever. I hate it. It's so scary. Just because it's so big, right? And especially when you can't see anything and it's just all water, that scares me so much. I don't know why. So scary. It just feels like you're alone. Like, you're actually just alone. And no one can find you if something happens. I was 22 years old, backpacking for 6 months, camping wherever I could. One day I was fishing by the lake with my camp already set down for the night save for starting the fire. I kept hearing rustling some 30 meters behind me in the tree line, so I stared for a while, hoping to see a deer or something. Next thing I know, I'm staring down a puma right in the eyes. I started to get up ready to take a sprint, but right as I was standing up, I remembered I was warned against this. So instead, I grabbed some rocks from the ground and started throwing rocks and shouting and throwing my arms up in the air until it left me alone. That night, I stayed up late next to the fire and then went to try to sleep scared. That was my only encounter with wildlife in the whole trip, save for birds and stuff. A puma? What in the world? Oh my gosh, I'm so glad they didn't start running, because how are they going to outrun a puma? Really? So scary though. Oh my gosh. I hate the wild. I hate nature. I'm kidding. I just like staying home, yes, with my dog, that's all. When I was 18, I left for some mission group thing for my gap year. This took place on an island in Central America. Earlier that night, everyone had been swimming off the dock, but I didn't want to because of all the jellyfish. As this is a group of guys fresh out of high school, this decision earned me the title of a huge chicken. Later that night, I go back down to the docks, just thinking about stuff, because I want to be alone. Obviously, I creeped out of the house without telling anyone. I see the water and think, while no one is around to judge me, I should get over my fear. But for some reason, I hesitate and shine my flashlight on the spot I want to jump to. There's this weird, clear, worm-looking thing I've never seen before. It's not exactly swimming. It's like twitching erratically and gently moving with the water. I'm wondering what it is when I look around more and I see a box jelly with a missing tentacle, and the tentacles look exactly like the worm. The box jellies there weren't like the kinds in Australia where you get hit and you're dead, but these are apparently bad enough to send you into shock with the pain. And if I had been in the water with no one else around to find me, there's a very good chance I would have drowned if I just jumped in without checking. Yo, jellyfish are scary, man. I mean, they look pretty and stuff, but like, yo, I don't want to be close to one. This is why peer pressure is the worst. Seriously, if you don't want to do it, just don't do it. You know, trust yourself, okay? Don't care about what anyone says. Your life is more important than their opinions, okay? We had a fire going in the backyard at a friend's house. My friend's dad decided to burn some junk from the garage, mostly old boxes and papers and stuff. So we're helping feed that stuff into the fire. I grabbed the next small box to throw in, and I can tell there's something in this one. There had been stuff in most of them, but it was just always pamphlets and little bits of packaging, so we had stopped really checking and we're just throwing them in. Well, I'm standing there with the box over the fire, about to drop it, when I decide to check this one. It was full of live mortar shell fireworks. My friend's dad decided we had burned enough garage junk at that point. What would happen if you throw it in? Would it like blow up or something? That's scary. I was in the hospital due to a freak instance of my heart and organs randomly failing, but with nothing more than mild flu symptoms. One night, I'm up playing Breath of the Wild, waiting for my midnight shot test when the nurse comes in. She suddenly freaks out and calls a code blue on me and tells me she thinks I'm having a stroke. It felt like half the hospital crowded into my room and were doing a bunch of stroke tests on me, and I passed them all with no symptoms, but she insisted I was having one, but she could only describe it as I wasn't as funny as normal. The doctors ended up siding with her to be safe and giving me medicine and doing tests. Turns out I did have a minor one. They hadn't detected some clots that formed when my heart failed, but somehow me not being funny at midnight was enough for the nurse to figure out how much danger I was in. Fortunately, it was a very minor stroke that really only caused me to feel like my fingers were a centimeter off when typing for weeks. But it would have been a lot worse had the clots gone completely undetected. Well, thank gosh they're a funny person. What? The nurse was like, oh, you're not being funny tonight. I think you're having a stroke. That's one good nurse, for sure, you know. That's an amazing nurse. Jeez, I'm so glad everyone listened to her and no one brushed it off. Thank gosh. Friends invited me to play games at another friend's house in the suburbs, but we both lived near downtown. I normally jumped at the chance to go hang out, but this time I was just off. I thought about going and then texted and changed plans, even though I wasn't planning anything else, just to be at home. They texted at close to midnight to show their back seat touching the back of their front seat. They were rear-ended on the highway going 75, and the guy was going fast enough to smash the entire back of the car in. Luckily, I wasn't in it. Jeez, they were like, not today. You know, I'm not about to be in a car crash today, not today. One time, working at a grocery store at night, I had a cart duty and had to collect all the carts from the parking lot and bring them into the store. It was dark out and I had my headphones in, and I was looking at the ground and pushing a chain of carts when suddenly it got darker. I stopped for a split second to wonder how it could get darker when it was already night, and bam! One of the huge 30+ feet high parking lots smashed onto the ground right in front of me, hit the carts and missed me by 2 feet. The metal had rusted out and it snapped at the base. If I hadn't stopped to wonder how it got darker, I would have definitely died. I love how they were, wait, it's already night. Why is it getting darker when it's already night? Well, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me in the comments down below what your thoughts are. And as always, thanks for watching. Hope you guys liked it. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.